But anyways, moving along on the rest of this card, we had John Cena come on out to a
Mhm.
big pop. It's crazy how the John Cena sucks chance kind of disappeared. Although I think if he comes back,
Disappeared, bro.
I think if he comes back to New York, though, it'll come back. It'll come back,
Oh
but
yeah,
only out
because
of
it's a part
respect.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like the "you suck" chance for Kurt Angle,
yeah,
which I
yeah.
will be watching as soon as I shut this off. That Kurt Angle
You
special.
suck.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too. Me too. Gonna be
yeah.
checking that out too. But Cena came out, got a great pop, and announced that he would be the special guest referee for the Miz LA Knight match, which proceeded for the Miz to come out. The Miz came out with some Cleveland Brown gears in Pittsburgh, and obviously that didn't go over well. That went over like a fart in church.
Now with Corey Graves.
And the Miz then ended up calling out LA Knight. LA Knight comes out. They have a great matchup. John Cena, well, not a great matchup, but I'll get to that in a minute. But John Cena gets a referee shirt, puts it on, and the match begins. Mach, what did you think of this one, man?
I thought it was smart for them to give LA Knight extended time. I felt like this was a 20-minute match.
Yeah.
I thought it was extended time for him. I thought I noticed something about the style of his character.
Yeah.
So this is what I think is missing from him. I don't think he knows how to work like a babyface.
Yeah.
So his character, his entire career has been, what'd you say, Pat? He's like a tweener.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's a
Yeah.
tweener or a heel, right? Was that you that told me that during the show, or was it
Yeah.
somebody else?
I don't know, but
Well,
you know what?
whatever.
I'll take credit for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
yeah,
me.
he's worked as that character. I don't think he's translated that character to his in-ring work, and
But
he's still working
He's been at
like
NWA, TNA, doing
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, he hasn't transitioned his work. He has not picked up the WWE style, and he hasn't been able to move it over to just be a full-blown babyface. Like, I can't imagine how that works, how anybody in the back, the producer, Jason Jordan, or whoever came up with this match, I doubt this is Jason Jordan, just saying that, that decided to give him that much offense. Babyfaces don't get this much offense. This is my point. He acts like he's a heel, a tweener, and it doesn't work for me. He needs to fix his in-ring shit.
Mach, I personally think that he hasn't had a good to great match.
Patrick,
Yet.
you need to put the echo cancellation on.
What's that?
The echo cancellation on in the
Oh,
settings.
shit. Oh, fuck beans.
I don't fuck beans, dude.
It's like the snowman.
Never
You
fuck
never
that.
have? You never been with a Puerto Rican?
Oh,
That's what you call beans? I would call them Mexican beans, bro. You,
Somebody
Puerto Ricans is fucking what's that, sofrito?
Look, it's back
Yes,
on.
I've been one.
Oh no, sofrito was the added ingredient to
Is it
the
better,
five
D?
for the 5 empanada match
Yes,
at the
sir.
end of the night.
All right, fantastic. So
Yeah.
here's my thing with LA Knight. Okay, the guy's over. He is. He's certainly over, but he hasn't had a good to great match. And for me, in this match, I think like they tried everything to kind of get to that point. And to your point, to some extent, he doesn't really work as a babyface very well. And they wanted to give him the John Cena rub, which the John Cena rub, that means
That's
they
a
want you to
good
be
rub.
a fucking babyface. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
Good
saying?
rub.
The match was decent with the Miz. I think they did a lot of basic stuff. I think that LA Knight tries to do too many things that require too much movement and too much shit going on. Like one example was like that swinging DDT when Miz went for his spot where he goes to the
Alexa
clothesline in the
Bliss's
rope.
DDT that she makes look amazing because of her size.
Yeah.
And this guy's like he's twice her size, and it looked awful.
Well, it's not so much the move itself, but I think it's the spot that they chose for it. I'm also not a huge fan of his finish. I feel like he hits at the same time every time. Some guy's selling with their back turn. He grabs the arm, turns him around, and then he hits the thing. That move to me, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not a huge fan of it. But I got
You don't like so if he came up with a different setup, would you like the finisher better?
It depends. It depends. I don't know, man. Like I just feel like it's the same thing every single match.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And look, you got to give the guy his credit. He's over with the crowd. He has great crowd interaction skills. He
Number
understands.
2 in t-shirt sales.
He understands how to get people involved, and you don't become number 2 in t-shirt sales for not being able to get the fans.
Oh, so he's not number 1 anymore.
No.
Yeah. So
Who's number 1 now?
I don't know. I know he's number 2.
It's probably Roman. All right, let's move on.
Well, look, I would say that he's still a little bit sloppy. Okay. It wasn't
I
as
agree.
fluid of a match as it could be. He gets to the point where he has to get to, but I don't know if you can count on him to be like a long-term champion. Look, Steve Austin in his peak didn't really do anything too complicated, but everything that he did was good enough to get you where you needed to get to and simple enough to get you where you needed to get to. I think if he cuts it out with that, and I think if he kind of starts to be a little more original, I think that he'd be in a better spot, and I could see him being a world title contender. Okay.
I also think the Miz has just been eating him up on promos, man. Like I
Yeah.
think this was
Yeah.
the more this feud goes on, the like I feel like they think of LA Knight as a shark, right? And they put him out there with an orca whale.
He's number 4.
He's number
okay.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roman's number
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Fake
But,
news, yeah. So yeah, and then so I feel like they think he's a shark. Like, oh, let's put him out there with other predators, but they put him out there with the Miz. That's possibly an orca on the mic. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, we're just gonna. Why are you laughing? So anyway,
he's like an orca on the mic.
Yeah, I mean, he just tortures people. That's what he does. Every time he cuts a promo against someone, he's gonna go for your worst quality. And that's what he's doing with LA Knight. He did it with Enzo. He does it with Bryan Danielson. He does it with get out of here.
John Cena and fucking
Sorry.
And
Simba decided to make an appearance. Get out of here. Getting on the fucking table. Almost knocked my drink over.
Yeah, I'm
I
with
don't
you
know.
on that. I think Miz is fantastic on the mic, and I think that, between the promo that he cut, the coming out dressed like him, actually playing a better version of him than he did.
I agree with you.
He was just great. I mean, everything that he said to him, you're an Attitude Era fanboy. I mean, like, that's pretty much the perception of the guy.
But dude,
That is the
how
perception
many
the
of
guy.
these dress up things have we had in pro wrestling, and we've never thought that they've been detrimental to the superstar? Jason Sensation with Owen Hart. You've seen Randy Orton and Edge do it with DX. You've seen DX do it with Shane and Vince. It's
NWO
never
kind of killed the 4 Horsemen.
Yeah, that's my spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're we've never seen it where it's hurt a wrestler. I really feel like that promo on Monday is going to come back to haunt LA Knight because everything the Miz said in there is turning out to be true. This guy isn't like he doesn't have that other gear. It's
Right.
I don't understand where he came from. I thought he was always going to be a mid-carder, but it looks like they want to make him a main eventer. I don't really see it.
I think that they're trying to do something interesting with him, and I think they're trying to figure out what that is. And I will still stick to my verdict on LA Knight, which is I see it, but I don't see it yet. And
kind of like Roman.
No, Roman, come on, man. Roman, like
in the beginning, it was like, oh, Roman,
no,
fucking idiot.
Look, early on,
Sucker and
before the march
succotage.
turned on him, before Punk came out with the podcast where he shit on him.
Yep,
and all
that
the
was it.
on him,
That
was
fucking
the move.
podcast. Yep.
And that would be good money for a Punk Roman feud too, by the way.
Ooh.
But,
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I said that to D before we turned on.
But I will say that Roman, you always saw the potential when he was over organically when the Shield started, and he would come out and he looked cool and he would do the cool moves and all this stuff, man. Everybody was into Roman Reigns. You think back to that Royal Rumble that he was in, where I think it was Batista ended up winning it. Dude, they should have called an audible and had him win that. It would have been amazing. It would have been amazing.
I've always, what do you think about that? Not to sideswipe you right here, but what do you think about them turning the Rumble into like an audible, like allow an audible, like, hey, the crowd is really going for this guy? Because it's obvious that the whoever wins the Royal Rumble isn't necessarily going to win the world title.
Right.
Like that's kind of it. It's like the Money in the Bank. They're not obviously going to win anymore. Unless you're a female that wins Money in the Bank, that's 100%.
Well,
like,
you also have TV too, where you could turn it. So, like for example, if Roman would have won it there, the crowd was hot for him, and then you have him come out. He's the Royal Rumble winner, and then Batista comes out, and Batista cuts a promo, and he's like, "I want it. It's my spot. Give it to me." The whole fucking thing again. And then you do a match where Batista beats him by cheating. He still looks strong. He's still a fan favorite. The fans are behind him organically, and now you put Batista in that spot where he needed to be. So, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I think they could do something like that because you have plenty of television to be able to direct it however you want to direct it.
Absolutely.
And more importantly, the emotional investment with the crowd. But getting back to this match, at the end, they had a little spot there where LA Knight and Cena almost ran into each other. And at the end of the match, John Cena is there on the stage with LA Knight. about to, you know, shake his hand, and LA Knight didn't want it. And they kind of teased a little John Cena LA Knight match potentially in the future, which wouldn't be the worst thing, I think. And
No.
I think a spot like that for LA Knight is good. But again, let's see how it develops. Like I said, the guy's over with the fans. That's great. I don't want to see him be a flash in the pan like some other guys that we've seen, because there's been plenty of other guys that have been super over with the crowd and they never quite got there, and they never quite graduated to that next level. Could LA Knight be that guy? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
Time will only tell.
I think he's a poor man Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. that is an interesting. And you know what? To counter that, I will say that yes is better than yeah. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Now, this is a 2 empanada match for me.
Yes.
I'm gonna go 3 empanadas on that, because I'm feeling generous tonight. And I think that I'm gonna give it 3 because okay, the match wasn't fantastic, wasn't amazing. Both guys did what they did. Miz, I think, really shined in this match.
Yeah.
And I think that they accomplished what their goal was, which was to graduate LA Knight to some type of thing in the future, have him kind of have that little feud with John Cena, which, look, wouldn't be the worst thing if he had a match with John Cena somewhere down the line.
Yeah,
I mean, that's where you sink or swim, honestly. Cena says it all the time. Whenever he's interviewed, he says, everybody says, I have this mythical golden shovel. I put you up here. You're up here with me. It's your job to stay there. Some people just fall after. So,
yeah. So,
we'll see.
Certainly a cool match,
yeah.
you know. Certainly a cool match we could potentially see down the line. In the next bout,